Hi guys, welcome to the Arc. My name's Noah and I'm going to be an instructor for this 1 hour STOTT Pilates Essential Matwork class. I am going to be using some equipment today, but if you don't have any equipment, don't panic. I will be giving you equipment-free exercises to do as well. If you are going to be following along with the equipment exercises, today we are going to be using a Pilates circle and a resistance band. This video doesn't have any music playing in the background, but if you would like to listen to some music, have a look in the description below and you will find a link to a Spotify playlist that you can play in the background. So if you are all set up and ready to go, let's get started. So we're going to start finding a comfortable position on our mat. You're going to sit up nice and tall on your sit bones. You're going to have your feet hips distance apart and your legs are going to be parallel. Rest your hands on your shins, sit nice and tall, inhale through the nose and exhale through gently pursed lips. So as we inhale, we're expanding the chest and the rib cage three-dimensionally. So I want you to imagine you've got a cube inside your chest and it's expanding up and down, forwards and backwards, side to side. Inhale, sit tall. And then as we exhale, we're contracting with the whole abdominal wall. So imagine you're wearing a corset and it's pushing in from all sides, all the way around your abdomen. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. And when you're breathing, I want it to be forceful enough that you can hear it coming out. So it's not a whisper, but it's not quite a shout either. We're going to inhale, sit tall. And then as we exhale, we're going to articulate from the head all the way down until we're looking down between the knees. And then from here, you're going to inhale, and your back is going to expand out like an accordion. Exhale, contract through that abdominal wall. Every time we inhale, we're drawing up with the rib cage, but I still want you to keep the abs engaged so that the lowest ribs are being pulled down towards the pelvis. And then as we exhale, we're going to gently pull up on the pelvic floor. And then on your next inhale, we're going to articulate back up, sit nice and tall, right up on top of those sit bones. Inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to come back down once more. So as we breathe in, I want you to think about your whole back expanding and filling the room. And then exhale, force that air out, contract to the abdominal wall. You should really feel the abs contracting here. One more inhale. And then on your final inhale, you're going to sit up nice and tall. And then as we exhale, we're going to roll down onto the mat. You may need to shuffle forwards a little bit, just to make sure that your head's on there. And then we're going to come into a neutral position for our imprint and release. So we're going to start in neutral. I want you to place the heels of your hands on top of your pelvic bones, your hip bones here. And then your fingertips are going to come together on top of the pubic bone. And then you want to sort of roll your pelvis around until your hands feel completely flat and parallel to the floor. And when you're in that position, you should have that little gap, your neutral, underneath your lower back in the mat. Once you've found that, you can just place your hands down by your sides, and then we're just going to practice inhaling and exhaling in this position, maintaining neutral. So we're going to inhale, the chest is going to expand three-dimensionally as before, but we're not going to let the ribs pop up out of our t-shirts, we're going to pull them down towards the pelvis. So even though our chest is expanding up this way, our abs are still pulling down on the ribs. That pelvic connection is really important and we're going to be working on that a lot today. And as you exhale, we're maintaining neutral for the moment. So you should really feel that lowest rib being pulled down towards the pelvis as you're breathing out. One more inhale. And then as we exhale, we're just going to roll the pelvis gently to lower the back down onto the mat into imprint. And then inhale, come back up to neutral. Exhale, down into imprint. Inhale, up into neutral. And just keep rolling in between neutral and imprint on every breath. Every time you go into imprint, you should really feel the abdominal muscles working to pull the pelvis towards the lowest ribs and the lowest ribs towards the pelvis, cinching everything together and pulling your back down towards the mat. Don't try and force it down. It's just gently lowering down onto the mat. almost think of it like a helicopter coming down to land. You don't want it to slam into the ground, you just want everything to come together at the right moment and it touches down gently. And now we're going to do some hip rolls. We're going to inhale, come up into neutral, and then as we exhale, we're going to roll a little bit faster. We're going to come into imprint, and then we're going to keep rolling and lifting all the way up until our pelvis is pushed up towards the ceiling. Inhale at the top, exhale, lower it back down. I don't want you to use your glute muscles here, so the bum stays completely relaxed, completely floppy. Inhale in neutral, exhale. We're using the abdominals to pull the pelvis towards the abs, lifting up, and even at the top, the glute should stay completely relaxed. Inhale, exhale, lower it down. So this exercise is all about the spinal articulation and getting the abdominal wall warmed up. It's not about the legs or the glutes. So they're not doing anything. If you're struggling with this one and you can't lift the pelvis up without tensing the glutes, then from the lowered position, just move your feet slightly closer in towards your seat, and then that'll give you a little bit more leverage, and you'll find it a little bit easier to lift up without those leg muscles wanting to engage. So we're going to come back down, all the way onto the mat, back into neutral, and then we're just going to bring our arms up and come over onto one side. So from this position, you might find that your head is uncomfortably tilted down towards the floor. If you can grab a cushion to prop it up so that your head remains in a nice neutral position, that's ideal. If you don't have anything to hand, just bend this lower arm and then you can just rest your head in your hand and push it into a neutral position. We're going to have the other arm out in front, our knees are bent. We're going to inhale, reach the hand up towards the ceiling, and then as we exhale, we're going to look towards our fingers and our arm's going to come all the way back down onto the mat. From here, we're going to inhale, the chest is going to expand, and then as we exhale, I just want to melt that arm down towards the mat and completely relax everything. Inhale, and then exhale, come all the way back towards the beginning. So we're taking a full breath in that lowered position, because as you come back here, you will probably feel a little bit of tension in the shoulder that doesn't want to release. So we're going to inhale, and then as you exhale, I want you to consciously tell that shoulder, relax. And then inhale again, and as we exhale, contract the abdominal wall to bring you all the way back towards the beginning. We're going to do one more on this side. Inhale up. Exhale, roll it back. Take a nice deep breath in this position. Get everything to relax. Open up the back, inhale. And then as we exhale, we're coming all the way back towards the beginning. And then we're going to switch it over to the other side. So start by setting yourself up in the correct position. So arms out in front, bending the supporting arm if you need to, if you don't have a cushion, and then the other arm's out in front of you. Keep your waist up off the mat so we're not completely flopped down here. Nice straight line the whole way down the back. Inhale, up towards the ceiling. Exhale, look up and over. Inhale, expand. Exhale, relax. Inhale, expand. Exhale, bring it back to the beginning. So this is where we start to look at the head and cervical neck placement. So in STOTT Pilates, and just generally in any exercise that you're doing, you want the curvature and the shape of your neck to follow the curvature and the shape of the thoracic spine. So that principle, when put into practice in this warm-up exercise, means that as the arm comes up, the head stays forwards, but then as the back starts to roll, the neck starts to twist with it to look towards the fingertips. So we're rotating the head to corkscrew the neck so that the turn in the neck matches the same shape as the thoracic spine. So if the back is twisted, the neck is twisted. The back is straight, the neck is straight. So we're going to come all the way around now onto our front, and we're going to come into an all fours position. Our hands are going to be a shoulders width apart underneath our shoulders. Our knees are going to be hips width apart underneath our hips. Our toes are going to be untucked, pointed down the mat, and you're just going to look slightly ahead of your fingertips onto the mat. We're in a neutral position here, so the back's not completely flat, you're maintaining that natural curve. We're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to roll the pelvis underneath us, lifting the back up towards the ceiling, tucking the head underneath the arms, inhale at the top, exhale, flatten out the back. Thought I could hear someone coming up the stairs there, but I think it's just a seagull on the roof, so we'll carry on. Inhale in this position, exhale, tucking the pelvis, and you want to feel that Mexican wave traveling up the back all the way to the head, inhaling at the top, exhaling, returning to neutral, starting with the pelvis, lower back, lower thoracic, upper thoracic, and then finally the head. So try and resist the urge to move the head until right at the end. And then similarly, as the pelvis starts to straighten out, the head doesn't come up until the very last motion. And then from this position, we're going to do our protraction retraction, or the crap press up. So we're going to inhale, and then as we exhale, you're going to lower the body down without bending the elbows. And then you're going to inhale, push up and away, exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So you should feel your scapula, your shoulder blades sliding and gliding across the back. Keep doing that motion. I'll give you a little demo with my hands. So your shoulder blades sat against your rib cage should be moving out and around and then together and towards the center. So all the way in, like you're trying to squeeze a tennis ball between your shoulder blades, and then all the way out, like someone's pulling on your arms. And then we'll just do the last one there. And then we're going to sit back onto our heels. And then from this position, we're going to do our arm circles. So we're going to inhale, arms are going to come up above the head. Exhale, sweep the arms around as wide as we can. Inhale, up and overhead. Exhale, all the way down. So I want you to focus here on expanding and opening the chest as much as you can, and keep sitting really tall, like someone's pulling your head up towards the ceiling. And I want you to imagine there's magnets attached to your fingertips, and those fingertips are being pulled out towards the walls by the magnets. And again, you should feel the shoulder blades sliding and gliding across the back. And then just rest the arms down by the sides. And we're going to do elevation and depression of the shoulders. So we're going to inhale, shoulders are going to come up towards the ears. Exhale, slide them all the way down. So imagine that you're wearing some jeans and they've got those back pockets on. So as you exhale and the shoulder blades go down, you're sliding them all the way down your back into the back pocket of your jeans. And then inhale, slide the shoulders up towards the ears. So try not to move the head. Head stays completely still, and we're just moving the shoulders. Similarly, try not to move the arms, keep the elbows and the wrists completely relaxed. Try not to move the back. All we're doing is lifting the clavicle and the shoulder blade up, and then pushing it down as far as we can. And then we're just going to come down onto the mat. And finally, we're going to do our little head nods. So find a neutral position, arms resting down the mat, and then we're just going to inhale, exhale, head nod. Inhale, return to neutral. Exhale, extend the neck. So as I've mentioned in previous classes, we're not trying to jam the chin down into the chest here. We're inhaling in neutral, exhaling, pushing the back of the head up the mat so that the chin lowers down. So we're lengthening the neck, not crunching it up. And the natural consequence of lengthening the neck is just that the chin lowers slightly. And this is just to engage the neck extensors so that when we do any flexion exercises, we're not jamming the chin down and putting any strain on the neck. We're just bracing it in a comfortable, safe position. And then last one there, and relax. So the first exercise that we're going to do is the breaststroke prep. So roll over onto your front. And then we're going to start with breaststroke prep 1. So our hands are going to be on either side of our shoulders. We're going to lie nice and long down the mat. So imagine someone's grabbing hold of your feet and pulling you down the mat. And then someone else is grabbing hold of your head and pulling you up the mat. So we're lying nice and long like a pencil. We're going to inhale with our nose hovering about an inch away from the mat, and then as we exhale, we're going to lift the head up away from the mat without pushing through the hands. Inhale at the top, exhale, lower it down. So in this position, I'm not using my arms to push up, and I'm not using my glutes to pull me up either. I'm just using the back extensors going down my back to pull my shoulder blades down towards my pelvis. So I want you to imagine you're Iron Man and you've got that glowy thing stuck in your chest, and you're going to try and shine that onto the wall in front of you. And if you're struggling to come up without using your glutes, remembering of course that you only need to come up as far as is comfortable without using the glutes or the arms. You don't have to come all the way up. But if you're really struggling, make sure that you're engaging that pelvic connection to the ribs, so push your abdominals down into the mat. Last one like this. Inhaling at the top, exhaling, lowering it down. And then I'd like you to take your hands off the mat, and we're going to place the fingertips at our forehead. A little bit of a challenge. Inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, exhale, lower. You will find that you cannot come up as high because we're now using our arms as weight, as resistance to push against. It takes quite a bit more effort, so don't worry if you can't come up very high at all. If all you can manage is a little 1-inch lift, that's absolutely fine. Last one. And then lower it down, place the hands back on the mat, and then we're going to push back into a shell stretch. So sit back onto the heels, extend the hands out in front of you. Keep your seat glued to your heels. Keep your head nice and relaxed down towards the mat. And then I want you to inhale and expand the back up like a balloon inflating. So a lot of the time when I'm in classes, I see people coming up like this. Make sure that you're staying glued down onto the heels and the head stays nice and low. And you're sucking your abs up towards your spine to create this gap between your thighs and your abdomen. So this isn't a child's pose where we're down in this position. It's a shell stretch. So I want you to imagine one of those shells like a scallop that you find on the beach where the back's nice and curved and then it comes down like that. So create that shape of a shell with your body. And every time you inhale, try and create a little bit more space here in between your thighs and your abdomen while keeping your head nice and low and making sure that your seat stays glued to your heels. And then one last deep inhale, and we're going to slowly articulate up to a seated position. And then just take one full breath here. And then if you have a resistance band, we're going to grab hold of it. We're going to do the 100. If you don't have a resistance band, then it's the exact same exercise that we normally do for the 100. If you do have one, you're going to place it around your feet like so, and then cross it over. Make sure you do cross it over, otherwise it's going to slip off your feet and smack you in the crotch. So we're going to roll down onto the mat and bring our knees up to a tabletop with our arms off the mat. So again, if you don't have a resistance band, just get yourself into this position. We're going to inhale, head nod, exhale, curl up and extend the feet away, and then inhale, pulse the arms for 5. And then exhale for 5, and inhale for 5. So keep that pulsing going. I want you to try and get your shoulder blades as far up away from the mat as you can. So really engage through the abdominals, but make sure that those abdominals aren't bulging up away from your spine. Use the transversus abdominis to suction those abs down towards the spine, so you're getting your core as flat down onto the mat as you can. If you would like to make this harder, you can bring your legs a little bit lower, but I'm not going to do that today. And make sure that when you're pulsing your arms down, you can feel those shoulder blades sliding and gliding across the back. So keep the chest nice and open, and then squeeze that tennis ball between the shoulder blades. We're nearly there. So keep on breathing nice and deep. Keep it controlled. We're in an imprinted position. Don't let yourself bend the knees and lower down and come into neutral. Maintain that imprint. Keep the head nice and high off the mat. If you're really struggling or if you feel any tension in the neck, you can lower the neck and the head down, but bear in mind that this makes it harder on the abs. So the more control you can maintain, the easier you will find this in the long run. And pause it there, bend the legs, lower the head down, and then lower the feet. And then we're going to come all the way up, and we're going to go straight into our half roll back. So you're going to have your arms out in front of you, and you're going to curl forwards as we were in the breathing. Again, if you don't have a resistance band, you can still get into this position. And the only difference is that for those without a resistance band, we're going to inhale and come back as normal. Exhale comes forward. If you do have a resistance band, hold on to it. And as we inhale, we're going to put it out to the side. Exhale, come forwards. Inhale, exhale, and note that my back is maintaining a C curve. So from my head all the way down towards my pelvis, the curvature through my spine doesn't change. I'm hinging from the hips. So my legs stay the same, my whole upper body stays the same, and there's just a single pivot point at the pelvis where I'm rolling back. Again, try and keep the chest nice and open. Inhaling, expanding, exhaling, coming forwards. And then last one. And then we're going to go straight into the roll up. So the resistance band comes off your feet. I'm going to double it up and hold it between my hands, and then just put slight tension on it at a shoulder's width apart. I'm going to bring my arms up overhead. Again, if you don't have a resistance band, you can do this one without, just follow through the exact same motion. And then we're going to inhale, bring the arms up, exhale, start rolling up, reaching forwards. Inhale, start to come back, and then as we come off our sit bones, start exhaling and coming the whole way down. As my arms reach up overhead, my ribs are going to want to pop up away from the mat. I'm going to keep using my abs to hold them in place. Inhale, come up, exhale, peel, fold yourself in half and reach towards the toes. Inhale, start to roll back, and then exhale as the lower back meets the mat, all the way down, and again, up and over, reaching forwards, and back. And I'm maintaining constant slight tension on the resistance band, so it's not slack at all. And again, if you don't have a resistance band, that's fine. Just maintain that shoulder's distance between the hands. And I want you to really focus on maintaining the control through this motion, so you're not pushing up. It's very, very slow and controlled the whole way up. And as you come down, really try and focus on articulating the spine and laying one vertebrae down at a time, so don't collapse back onto the mat. The whole way up and the whole way down is 100% controlled and measured. Last one. And then just relax the arms down and we can drop the resistance band for now. And we're going to grab hold of our circle. If you don't have a circle, we're going to be doing one leg circle, so the arms can just go out towards the side and you can push down through the triceps and engage the posterior deltoid. If you do have a circle, we're going to be pulling on the inhales, squeezing on the exhales. So I'd like you to bring one leg up to tabletop, extend it up towards the ceiling. Our lower back is in neutral, and then we're going to inhale out to the side and down, exhale across the body and up, inhale out and down, exhale across and up. So we're trying to draw the biggest circle that we can without disrupting the pelvis. We're maintaining neutral, and if you can't maintain neutral and you have a circle, you may wish to drop the circle and just put your arms down onto the floor to give you a little bit more of a solid base of support. We're going to change direction. Inhale across the body and down, exhale away from the body and up. So you only need to draw the biggest circle that you can manage without disrupting the pelvis. If that circle is only 3 inches across, that's fine. You can do tiny little circles if you need to, but it's all about maintaining the stability and the control. Pause it there, and then lower that leg down, and then we're going to bring the other leg up to tabletop and extend it towards the ceiling. And then it's the exact same thing. So we're going to inhale, circle out, exhale, cross and up. Out and around, cross and up. Inhale, pull on the circle, exhale, squeeze it. Inhale, pull, exhale, squeeze. Keep that pelvis nice and neutral. Remember, you've got that little grape underneath, and we're not going to squish it. And then we're going to switch directions. Inhale across the body down, exhale away from the body up. Inhale, pull, exhale, squeeze. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through gently pursed lips. Keep everything nice and stable. Remember, if you need to reduce the size of the circle, you can do so. If you need to lower the leg down to make it a little bit easier to draw that circle, that's fine too. And then last one, and pause. Bring that leg down to tabletop, and then bring the other one up to tabletop. And we're going to do obliques. You're going to lift the circle up towards the ceiling. If you don't have a circle, again, you can just get your hands in this position. We're going to inhale, head nod. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, and then exhale. We're going to extend the left leg and bring the circle across to the other side of the right leg. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. If you have a circle, as you come across and exhale, you can squeeze it. One of the things I would like you to focus on, though, is keeping the arms parallel and perpendicular to the chest. So notice that my head and my shoulders are coming across the whole way. So I'm not lowering the circle down and twisting it. So my wrists stay straight, and I'm bringing the back of my hand down towards the floor. So I'm peeling my back the whole way up and over, because if you're just bringing the circle down like so, you're cheating. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, touch the hand to the floor. Last one. And then bring it to the center. And then you can lower the head down to the mat. And then bring the feet down. If you have a circle, you're now going to place it in between your legs. So the circle can either go just above the knee, like so, or just below the knee, whatever feels more comfortable for you, but don't place it on the knee joint itself. It won't stay in place and it might be uncomfortable. We're going to squeeze the circle to get our knees to about hips to shoulders width apart. And then we're going to do shoulder bridge. So if you don't have a circle, then you can just follow along without doing it. So we're in neutral, our hands are down by our sides. We're going to inhale, then as we exhale, we're going to lift the whole way up, inhale at the top, exhale, lower the whole way down, and we're touching down in neutral. So we lift off in neutral, everything leaves the mat together, and then we touch down in neutral, everything touches down together. So you should feel the adductors working here, and we're going to get them to work a little bit more. So we're going to come up and then exhale, 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 lower it down. So come up to the top, squeeze the circle 3 times, and then lower it. Inhaling at the bottom, exhale, lift, exhale, 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 lower it down. So as you come up, I want you to be using the abdominal wall and the back, but right at the top, your glutes can start to engage. So lift it up and then squeeze with the glutes and the adductors to bring everything together. Once more, inhale, exhale, 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 and then lower it down. So we're going to take the circle out. We're going to do a heel squeeze prone. The official way to get into this position is to lie on your side with the circle in between your ankles, and then you're supposed to roll over like so. My experience thus far has been that most people can't manage this very well. So just do your best and get yourself into the correct position. If you don't have a circle, then we're just going to lie in this position and you're going to bring your heels together. So from here, our nose is going to hover about 1 inch away from the mat. If you like, you can use your hands as a little pillow. We're going to inhale and then exhale, squeeze the heels together or squeeze the circle together as hard as you can. And then we're going to inhale, relax, exhale, squeeze. So we're using the glutes and the hamstrings here. And it's 100%, you're squeezing as hard as you can. If you have a circle, you will find that it wants to wobble around quite a lot. I only want you to squeeze it as hard as you can without allowing it to wobble. So we're just going to do a couple more of these. And then if you have a circle between your ankles, just place it to one side. And then we're going to extend our legs down the mat and we're going to do the one leg kick. So we're going to inhale and then we're going to exhale with the toe pointed, exhale with foot flexed, and then inhale, lower it down. Exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale. So we're exhaling twice, inhaling once. Long inhale, 2 short exhales, long inhale. And I want you to kick as hard as you can without your whole body shuffling up and down the mat. So if I kick really hard, I lose complete control and my whole body is wobbling around. So I want you to keep it controlled and you're just kicking as hard as you can while keeping everything in place. We'll do one more on each leg. And then we're going to move on and do the breaststroke. So if you have a circle, you can place it back in between your ankles. If you don't have a circle, we're just going to do a regular breaststroke. So with your hands down by your sides, you're going to inhale, shoot the hands forwards, and then exhale, come the whole way up, hands come towards the hips. Inhale, arms come forwards, exhale, sweep them around. If you have that circle, keep the toes pointed up towards the ceiling, but otherwise, legs are just down on the ground. So as before, when we did the breaststroke prep, we're not using the glutes here. We're only engaging the legs as much as necessary to keep the heels pointed up towards the ceiling. So as you come down, you're stretching nice and long. As you come up, reach away from the mat. Again, pretend you're Iron Man. You've got the glowy thing on your chest. and you're going to shine it onto the wall in front of you. And then just place the hands down, push back onto the heels, a little bit of a shell stretch. So sit nice and low onto the heels, let the head hang nice and heavy, and then expand the back up towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, down away from the ears. Keep on inhaling, creating more space between the thighs and the abdominals. Imagine that you've got a little mouse that's going to come along and run over your legs, and you need to make the space for it. And then the cat comes and chases the mouse, create a little bit more space. And then the dog comes chasing the cat, a little bit more. And then finally, one nice long inhale. And we're going to come all the way up to a seated position and relaxing back onto our heels. Take one nice deep breath here, sitting nice and tall. So we're going to come to a seated position and we're going to do the saw. If you need something underneath you to prop you up a little bit higher, feel free to grab it now. But otherwise, sit as tall as you can with your lower back nice and neutral, sitting up straight, trying to pull up on the head, and we're going to bring our arms out towards the side like we're holding on to a giant beach ball. We're going to inhale, come across to the side, exhale, back to the center. Inhale to the other side, exhale to the center. Inhale, come across. And now as we exhale, I want you to come down, twisting this back hand so the palm faces away. Inhale, come back up, exhale to the center. Inhale, exhale, watch my back hand rotates round. Inhale up, exhale center. So notice that when this rear hand rotates, it doesn't go back as I come up. It only returns back to the center as I do. So round, down, up, and to the center. So I want you to reach for that little toe and reach this rear hand up towards the ceiling. Back to the center and return. So imagine you're like one of those little dancers on a music box. Rotating round, bending forwards, up and back to the center. Last one on the other side, even ourselves out. And then the arms can relax down. Shuffle forwards on the mat so that your feet are down at the end. And then we're going to do the neck pull prep. So I want you to bring your arms up, so your fingertips are at your temples. And you need to sit really nice and tall so that you can feel those sit bones right underneath you. So if you kind of wobble around a bit, you'll feel if you come back, they kind of clunk out of the way. And then if you sit up nice and tall, they kind of pop back into place. So sit up really tall so you're right up on top of those sit bones. Again, if you need something underneath you, feel free to grab it, but that might make it a little bit harder to do the rest of this exercise. So from this position, we're going to inhale, exhale, come back. Inhale, exhale, come forwards. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. As you come back, you'll feel your feet want to lift off. So I want you to go as far back as you can without letting them. So be brave, come all the way back, just to the point where they want to lift off, and then come forwards. And sit nice and tall. So the motion I always like to describe as being like a bouncy castle. You have those columns on the corners, and they inflate all the way up at the last minute. So come down, C curve, reach it forwards, like the half roll back, and then bouncy castle. Last one. Sit nice and tall. Arms can come down, and now we're going to do the obliques roll back. If you have a resistance band, grab hold of it now. And we're going to wrap it around our feet. And remember, you need to cross it over because otherwise it's going to smack you in the crotch. Arms come up. If you don't have a resistance band, it's the exact same motion. So you're just doing the exact same thing as me, but without the resistance band. Inhale, sit nice and tall. Find those sit bones, make sure they're underneath you. And then exhale, C-curve, come off them, reach the arm back. Inhale, up. Exhale, sweep it back. So you're on a canoe, on a lake, and you're going to sit back and you're going to drag your hand through the water. And then inhale, come up, exhale, rock back. So sit nice and tall and then create that C-curve as you come back. And make sure you're getting those shoulder blades sliding and gliding across the back of the rib cage, keeping the chest nice and open. So as you come up, don't shrug the shoulders forwards, chest open, shoulders back, and then reach that arm back, opening out the chest even further. Last one. Sit tall, and then the resistance band can go to one side. We aren't going to be using it again. We're going to come down onto our side, and to finish off this workout, we're going to do the side leg lift series. So, lie nice and long on the mat. Your supporting hand is going to go underneath your head, and then your free hand is going to come down 90 degrees to your body, hold you in place. So I have a little gap between my waist and the mat. So think about it as neutral, but lying on your side. So I'm not collapsed down. We are going to maintain that gap pretty much throughout the whole series. So with the hand down, the toes pointed, we're going to inhale, lift the top leg, exhale, lower it down. So inhale and lift, my toes pointed, and as I exhale and lower, the foot is flexed. Inhale, flex, exhale, point, inhale, flex, exhale. So we're maintaining that neutral. If you're bringing your foot the whole way up here, it's probably because your waist is touching the mat. So keep that leg nice and controlled. Don't let the waist touch down. And then we're going to do one more and lift. And now we're going to do circles. Inhale, exhale, keep that going. So only go as fast as you can without the whole body wobbling around. So if you're rocking backwards and forwards and your leg is throwing you around, you're going too fast and your circle's too big. So if all you can do is very, very little circles, that's absolutely fine. It's about keeping it controlled. And now we're going to switch directions. Inhale back, exhale forwards. So waist stays off the mat. Keep everything nice and controlled. Last one. And then lower the leg down. Now we're going to inhale, lift the top leg, exhale, lift the bottom leg to meet it, and then they both come down together. Inhale, exhale, exhale. So one short inhale, and then a long, slow exhale. So you'll notice that my toes are sliding past each other. Because I'm keeping my waist in neutral away from the mat, this foot comes up, the bottom one comes up, and my toes can't touch because of the way your pelvis works. And then as they lower down, they slide past. So if you're feeling that, you're doing it correctly. And now finally, we're going to exhale and lift both feet together. So inhale at the bottom, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Couple more of these. Remember, if you can only lift your legs a tiny little way off the mat, that's fine. It's about keeping control, keeping that waist off the mat. We're staying in neutral. Last one. And then we're going to flip it over and do the whole thing on the other side. So, build up your position. You're nice and long the whole way down the mat. Your supporting hand underneath the head. The free hand comes down at 90 degrees to stop you from rolling around too much. Point the toes. Make sure that your waist is lifted off the mat. Make sure it doesn't touch. Remember, I've come along and I've put a little thumbtack underneath your waist. Make sure that you don't stab yourself. So, we're going to inhale and lift pointed, exhale, flex, lower it down. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. You may find little asymmetries in your body. You might find that on one side you can lift slightly higher than the other. That's fine. That's what we're here to work on, getting everything nice and even. So keep the waist up and away from the mat. Inhale, point, flex, exhale, point, inhale, flex, exhale. And then we're going to inhale and lift and do circles. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Remember, make sure that your circle is only as big as you can maintain control of your body. So if everything's wobbling around, make the circle smaller, even if it's really, really tiny. And then one more, and we'll switch directions. Inhale back, exhale forwards, keeping that waist up off the mat, keeping the head supported, keeping the whole body nice and stable. I want you to imagine that your whole body, save for that circling leg, is frozen in a block of ice and nothing can move. And then lower it down. We're going to inhale, lift the top, exhale together, and lower. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, exhale. So this is where it starts to get a bit trickier with that waist. It's going to want to touch down to the mat. And the other thing that's tricky is the top leg can lift quite high without moving the waist, but the bottom one can't. So it's really tempting to lift this leg the whole way up, and then the bottom one's never going to reach it. So make sure you're only lifting the top leg as high as you can get the bottom one to get up to it. Last one. And then we're going to exhale, lift them both together, inhale, lower. Exhale, lift them both, inhale, lower. Keep that going. Feet should be sliding past each other. Waist should be keeping away from the mat. Don't stab yourself with that thumbtack. Keep the head nice and supported. Keep the whole body stable. One nice long straight line. Last one. And relax. So we're going to come into a last little cool down phase. And if you've got one of those little stability balls or a cushion to hand, now is a good time to grab it. So I've got one of these, again, cushion, bolster, foam roller, even a big rolled up towel, anything that you can find will be useful for this bit. So we're going to start off with a sideline position. Just place it down on the mat, sit next to it, and then I just want you to roll over the top of it and flop yourself down. And I want you to try and find a position where you can lie on the mat without putting any effort into it. So for example, right now I can feel myself wanting to roll back. So I'm just going to bring my legs apart a little bit. I'm going to bring this arm up over the top. And then I can lie here pretty comfortably and I'm not going to roll anywhere. So just take a few nice deep breaths in this position, really expanding the side body and get everything to relax. And if you want to, you can pause the video here and spend as long as you like in this position. It's a really good way to get the obliques to relax and to get those muscles around the hip that we've just been working to kind of chill out and reset. And then we're just going to bring our arms back in and our legs back in. And just slowly lift yourself up out of that position. And we'll switch it over to the other side. So ball down, sit next to it, and then just flop over the top. And then again, just find yourself a nice comfortable position where you can lie. Ooh. There we go. And then just chill out there. So again, you can spend as long as you want in this position. This is normally the time when people start thinking, I have things to be getting on with, but I urge you to make the time to just relax at the end of this session. The stretching and cool down portion of a workout is always the bit that people neglect, but it is really important. Nice deep breaths, expanding the rib cage. And if you feel any tension in the hips, just try and get it to relax through breathing and consciously telling those muscles to relax down. And then we're going to come up out of this position. And then finally come down, and we'll come up into a bridge, and then just wedge that ball underneath our lower back. Relax down on top of it, and then just slide the feet away. And if you get into this position and it feels uncomfortable, if there's any tension on the lower back, just bring the feet in. You can still get that relaxation in the lower back with the feet in this position. You might just have to put a little bit more kind of conscious thought into controlling the legs, versus if you can relax entirely, and then the weight of your body will hold you in place. So if you need to kind of shuffle around a little bit to get to a comfortable position, feel free to do so. But then once you think you've found it, just try and chill out as much as you can. Nice deep breaths, expanding the rib cage. Try and draw that breath all the way down into the abdomen. And then just very slowly bring the feet back in. And then bridge up, and you can remove that ball underneath you. So that is the class completed for this week. Hope that was good for you, and I will see you again next week.